you to see what I deal with.
It doesn't smell.
Yes, it does. Farted.
Put that on the blooper reel.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Can you
Oh. You smell it? Turd.
Yeah.
Alright. Ready?
You first, you gotta do it.
Hi Tribbies! So, you guys can't tell by the title of this video, this is how we met / our engagement story. So yeah, we're just gonna talk to you guys a little bit about like how we met, how we started dating, how we got engaged and everything. So if you haven't already, please go ahead before we get started and subscribe, hit that bell notification down below, like, comment, all that jazz, and get right into it. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get right into the story. Just so you guys know, Ian, as you guys probably have seen him on some of the vlogs, he's not like a super big talker, and it actually took me like a lot of asking to get him to actually do this video with me, because he's not really into like the whole like internet thing and everything, which is fine, but I just didn't feel like it was like, you know, super cool to do this video without my love. So he's probably not gonna talk too much, but I do want you guys to see him say something other than what up people. So yeah, we're gonna just go ahead and jump right in.
Alright, so I was like 30 years old. That's when we're starting.
30 years
we're starting
old.
there.
Okay.
So I was 30 years old, single, and didn't like being single. So tried the whole like going out trying to find people, didn't work too well. And then tried the whole church thing, didn't work either. And then tried the whole online deal. Chatted with a few, never hung out with any, and Bree here was the first one who actually hung out with. And yeah, now we're getting married, so.
That's it?
That's really it.
You jumped from one message to we're getting married. Okay, so my take on things. I had just ended a really long relationship, maybe like 4 or 5 months before that. I wasn't planning on talking to anyone or like dating anybody. As a matter of fact, I got on the site because I had just moved to a new place and I was trying to meet people and just trying to like really get out there. And also like, I mean, I was single, not dead. So I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna date around and, you know, like have that good time and just kind of be single for a while. Because I wasn't really looking for a relationship. And then Ian messaged me, and like one of the first things I noticed like on his profile was like he was just like talking about God and how his relationship with God was like of the utmost importance to him, and how that was gonna pretty much center his like relationships and like who he looked for and who all that he was gonna, you know, partner with. And so I thought that was like really interesting because like nobody said that anymore. Like nobody says like, oh yeah, I'm looking for a God-centered person and that's it. And if you're not even looking towards those things, then I don't want to like talk to you. So we went ahead and he messaged me, and I think I gave him my number or something to call. And then when he called me, we were talking about like going out or something like that. And I remember telling him like, oh yeah, we can go out, but you're not about to be my man. I think I said something like, oh yeah, we can go out, but I'm not looking for a relationship. And then like immediately after that, he was just like, well, I'm looking for a wife. He's like, I'm serious about my relationship. I'm not gonna like just date to be dating. That's a waste of time for me. I want someone who I can spend my life with and someone who I care about, that cares about me, and just dating you to date around, it's just like wasting my time. And I was kind of shocked by that, to be honest. It kind of floored me a little bit because nobody says that, and I know I'm gonna say that a lot, but just like I have never heard that, and I've never been with someone who was just like dating with purpose, and so um, that kind of shocked me, and I was just like, oh, okay then. But luckily, he did decide later, like, that we should try to be friends and everything, and just like get to know each other, and then pursue like a dating relationship. Um, so, why did you decide to be friends and get to know them?
I think a big part of it was your heart. I could see it from like the beginning.
Baby. Yeah.
That was a big part. That and the Christian, and you're really cute too. Those are three great things.
Yeah. So while Ian and I were friends and getting to know each other, I was still dating. So we weren't like exclusive or anything, and that was definitely something that we both had talked about, and we both like come to that understanding and acknowledgement of like I wanted to be 100% open with Ian, and I wasn't like I wasn't dating a bunch of people and not telling him about it. Basically, I was just like, hey, there are gonna be times where I'm not able to hang out. I'm dating, and I just want to make sure that whoever I become exclusive with, that's a decision that I made with the intent to be with that person long term. And he was like, okay, cool. And so I would go out on dates and talk to people, and it just honestly seemed like nobody was really like comparing. Not that you're dating to compare and contrast people, but the person that he was and the person that he is, nobody else was like that, and nobody else treated me like that and was like helping me to build my relationship with God. I really wanted to push towards my faith in whatever relationship I got into, and I wanted to be able to build something like that with our children and our family, and to just like really put God at the head of our house. And so Ian was, really pushing for that, and we'd go to church together, and we'd read our Bible together, we studied together, and we spent a lot of time that was devoted to our spiritual development. And I'm not perfect by far, I'm still learning, still growing, but I appreciated the fact that he wanted to do those things with me. So that kind of like led to us having that talk about being exclusive and having the talk about dating and whether or not we wanted to be serious with each other. So, what about you?
Agree.
You agree? I'm sorry if it seems like I'm the only one talking.
No, after a few dates, I realized how awesome she was and how much we both wanted like similar things. And then we had some serious talks, and to be honest, I was jealous when she was dating other people, yeah. But I just played it cool and let her do it, and now we're here, so.
Well, what'd you think? Like when I would tell you like, oh yeah, I can't hang out today. I'm going out, or I'm gonna go hang out.
I don't know. I mean, I knew we had fun together, but you never know.
Our first like date that we had, it was
No.
No? I'm gonna tell you guys because he doesn't want me to. It was probably one of the most like awkward.
You can use that word.
It was not boring. So it wasn't boring, but it was really awkward because if you guys can tell, like just from the 10 minutes or so that we've been on already, Ian is not a big talker, and I'm a huge talker. So our first date, it was like me talking. I was asking questions. He was just giving like one word answers. He wasn't talking at all, and I was just like,
I was nervous in my defense.
Great, guys. You were nervous?
I was nervous.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so he was nervous, he says. But when we were together, He was not talking. He didn't say anything, really. It was just like, it was really weird because when we left the date, I was like, I don't know if this is going anywhere. He doesn't talk. But luckily, you know, we kind of like opened up, and it took him a little bit, and took me a little bit getting to know him and getting to know his personality. Especially because I have such a strong personality, and he's just like really chill. Like, it just took us a little bit, you know, longer than it might have taken other people. But then once I got to know him,
I'm just glad you called me back, because I butchered it.
Oh my goodness. No, you didn't butcher it. You did.
I butchered it.
You did it.
Killed it.
Oh my goodness. So, yeah, so after a couple months of dating, we were dating, and then I think we started to talk more about getting serious, being boyfriend, girlfriend, you know, that whole thing. And then we decided, like, okay, yeah, you know, this is what we want. And then part of me deciding to actually be his girlfriend was me doing a lot of praying, and a lot of, like, you know, asking God if this is what he wants from me, is this, you know, what we should be doing, because I had just, not even a year before that, had gotten out of a serious relationship, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't making this huge mistake. And also I wanted to make sure I wasn't rushing things, and, you know, every sign that I asked God for, it was just like it was placed, like, in my path. And I was just more and more sure of who he was, especially, like, after meeting his family. So, like, his birthday, we went out with his family. I met his brother, his sister, their kids. And then Thanksgiving, I met the rest of his family, like his aunts, uncles, grandparents. And then we went to LA, right? Went to LA in like December, and it was just kind of like just more signs just showing, like, okay, this is the person that I want to be with, this person wants to be with me. And then it was just like really telling myself, like, okay, if I commit to saying, like, I'm gonna date this person, I know what Ian said. I know that he said that he's not dating just to date, he's dating because he's looking to get married, he wants a wife, he wants a family. And, you know, I can't waste his time. And that really scared me, to be honest. Like, I was just like, okay, you know, he's serious about what he means. And so if I commit to dating him, I'm committing to saying that that's what we're working toward. Like, we're working toward marriage. And that big commitment scared me a lot. And so I prayed about it, and we talked about it. And then ultimately we decided to let God decide for us. And then it was just really, honestly, like, it seemed like everything was coming into place, and like he was talking and speaking to us and speaking to me, and I did a lot of praying about it. And then, you know, we just started dating, and my main squeeze.
Oh my gosh, that was funny.
Oh my gosh. And so yeah, so pretty much after that we started dating, and we got together, and it's been like a ride ever since. And then, you know, shortly after that, after we got really serious, Ian, he brought up to me the conversation of marriage, and we started talking about getting married, and, you know, how that would play out when we wanted to get married, if we wanted kids, you know, that whole scenario. Okay, so we're gonna move into our proposal story. So Ian and I had been dating for a little while.
3 months.
Yeah, so we've been dating for like 3 months, like seriously dating for 3 months. And then he basically started talking to me about marriage. And what do you remember what you asked me? Like, about marriage? He asked me, he's like, so if I were to ask you to marry me, would you say yes? And I was like, it's about 80%. You remember?
Oh, I did.
I was like, it's about 80%. And he's like, oh, the odds are good. So basically, we had this conversation. We had a serious talk about us getting engaged, us, you know, being together long term, and what that would look like. I think it was maybe like a couple of weeks after that. So it might have been like at a family gathering or something. he tells me that he was looking at his cousin's ring, and his cousin's rock is huge. And so it is. Like his cousin Laura has like this really nice ring, and it's like really big. And so he was like saying that, you know, he wanted to look into like looking at rings and everything. And I was like, okay, cool. But just so you know, I don't want a ring like Laura's ring. Like, although it's really gorgeous, I'm just more of like I just want like a band, and then my ring, and it's basically just the band and then the diamond on there, which is what like exactly what I wanted. Aunt basically had this connection with what she was like this jeweler's accountant. Yeah, so she was like this jeweler's accountant, and so he's like, oh, you know, we should look into seeing like what rings, you know, what you like. And so originally we went to a few diamond places around here, and I looked at a couple of rings. Originally I wanted a pear shaped. We tried on some, and I saw like the solitaire, just one diamond, and now I wanted the circle because I didn't actually like how the pear shape looked on my finger. So after that, I think we just like let it go. We really wasn't talking about it for like a few weeks after that. It was just like back to dating. Like it wasn't like I wasn't pressing it. Like it was just like, okay, cool. Like we looked, we may or may not get it. You know, if we do get it. Oh yeah, because I remember Ian saying, I want to get married, but I want to pay my car off before we get engaged. And I was like, okay, cool. And he was like, yeah, I'll have it paid off by May. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, then it'll be like, you know, almost a year. It'll be fine. No biggie.
That never happened.
Never happened. That never happened. We got engaged way before that. So, essentially what happened was Ian, maybe like, a couple of weeks after that, he called his aunt and was basically like, oh, I want to look at rings to get Bree. Like, I want to get engaged. And funny thing, like, nobody in his family was like, hey, do you guys think this is too soon? Like, you know, maybe you guys should take a little bit more time. You're only dating a couple months. Everyone was just like, this is great. This is awesome. You guys are going to get engaged. And I think we got engaged. And I had only met your brother like one time, right?
I think it was once or twice.
Yeah, like once or twice for his birthday. Like, it was crazy. I mean, I just met his parents a lot. We hung out. They fed me a lot. But, like, yeah, thinking about it now, that was, like, kind of quick. And, like, nobody said anything. I guess they're like, whatever, you guys are grown.
Hey, yours didn't either.
No, they didn't. Yeah, they didn't. No, my mom did. My mom in Florida, she did. She was like, this is hecka quick. And yeah. But anyways, so yeah, basically after all of that, he goes and talks to his aunt, and he's like, oh, you know, I want to look at rings for Bree. And then he calls me and is like, oh, I just talked to my aunt. This is your aunt, Peggy, right? He's like, oh, I talked to my aunt Peggy, and I'm gonna go down there and look at rings. And I think it was like, I was going to New York because my two best friends live in New York, and I was going to go visit them. And he's like, oh, I'm going to go, you know, while you're gone and while you're in New York, I'm going to go look at rings. And I was like, okay. But
why are you telling me?
Yeah, and I was like, why are you telling me this? You know, like, why are you bringing this up? Like,
back to, I can't keep a secret.
You cannot keep a secret for like anything. I love you, but you cannot. He can't hold a bag of water. Like, so I'm like, okay, cool. He's gonna go get this ring, and I'm still on like the whole thing. Like, okay, it'll be a while. He's just going to look. He just wants something to do while I'm gone for the weekend. Bought it. Buys the ring. Literally buys the ring. And so I'm like, okay. And he tells me he bought the ring. So we come back and he's like, oh yeah, I bought the ring. And she's bringing it in 2 weeks. And I think at the time you guys were like having something for
some family thing.
Yeah, I think I was also like maybe getting ready to go home to visit family or something like that. But it was just like, he was just real weird. Like, He wasn't trying to keep the secret at all. And so he's like, yeah, I got the ring. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go pick it up. Or she's going to bring it in a couple weeks. And so something happened. I think it might have been like miscommunication or something. It was like a miscommunication or something. And she was just like, she's not actually coming. But she'll bring it when she comes for Christmas or something. She's like, she'll bring it whenever she comes later. And so after that, Ian's like, no, let's go to Fresno. Let's go pick it up. And so if you guys know anything about the Bay or anything about California, so where we live, in the Bay Area, Fresno's like 3 hours south. So it's like 3 hours south of us. It's like 3 hours from LA. And so I'm like, okay, we're gonna go drive 3 hours to Fresno. And so, mind you, I know he got the ring, I know he paid for the ring, and now I'm with him in the car as we're going to pick up this ring.
I didn't want to go by myself. That's a long drive.
This is him. This is him all the time. Like, really, it really is. Birthdays, Christmases. We bought wedding gifts for each other, and he was this close to giving it to me. Our wedding is 4 months away. So.
Yeah, I still didn't.
You did not. Yeah, I'm proud of you, baby.
It's hiding.
I'm proud of you, baby.
It's hiding in my room.
Mm-hmm. So, so after that, we get to Fresno. I'm like, no, I don't want to see the ring. Go ahead and get the ring. I'm going to go shopping at the mall because I think I was getting ready to go home. So I wanted to get like a bigger suitcase because I was going to be home for like, I think like 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. And so I'm shopping. He gets the ring. We get back in the car. We go have lunch. And then we drive back to Fresno. And as we're getting in the car, so I'm still thinking, like, there is no way dude is about to propose. I'm right here. I know he got this ring. At least he's gonna wait a while and plan something out. He is not about to propose today. Wrong. So we're driving back.
I was trying to find a good spot.
Is that what you were thinking about the whole way back?
It started raining.
It did start
bad.
raining. Mm-hmm.
So I had to improvise.
At his parents' house. And pull up. He opens the garage and he's like beet red. Like all of this is like deep beet red. And so he starts sweating. You want to tell this?
It was hot in there.
You want to tell this part, babe?
No, you're doing a good
job.
Oh
my goodness. So he's like beet red. And he's like super sweaty and everything else. And then he like goes to like where he's gonna go and open the door to the garage to go into the house and upstairs. We've closed the garage at this point. And so I'm like, are you okay? And he's just like sweating. He's like super hot, super red. And he's just, I forget what you said.
I don't remember a word I said.
But it was just like, pretty much it was just basically like, what would you do if you proposed right now or something like that? And then I was like, I don't know, what would you say? Because at this point I'm thinking like, he's about to throw up. Like, let me just calm him down because he's literally about to throw up at this point. And so I'm like, okay, well, what would you say? Like, you know, just trying to like lead him into it so he can like just like relax a little bit. And then he's like standing up and he's just like, you know, I'll never forget it. Like the first time I saw you, you're so beautiful. I love you so much. You make me so happy. I'm glad that we're building our relationship together. I'm glad that you love God and that you're trying to be a good Christian and that's important to us. And then you're saying like how I am with his family and how me being with his family like kind of solidified that he wanted to be with me. And so he said, I think he said like, would you do the honor of being my wife or something like that? And it was so sweet. And But mind you, this whole time he's not on his knee. He's just like standing straight up, and he's taller than me. So imagine like me here, and Ian's like here, and I'm just like looking up at him. And then he's like has the box in his hand, and it's like shaking. It's like this. It's like shaking. And I was like, so are you gonna get on your knee? And he was like, do I have to? I was like, yeah, you have to do it right. And he's like, okay. So he gets on his knee and he's like, and he goes like this. So will you? And I was like, yeah, of course. And so
You said yes, and we were walking into the house, and then you go, oh, I should probably look.
oh yeah, because I said yes to him, and I hadn't even opened the box yet, which is crazy because I needed to see what you were working with. Could have been some little rinky dink cracker jack.
You're such a turd.
So yeah, so I opened it up and it was gorgeous, of course. And so yeah, then we went upstairs and his parents didn't even notice right away. So we ended up telling them that, you know, we got engaged and everything. And
Like hours later, after you were going like this.
oh yeah, I was like this the whole time. I was like, yeah, engaged, yeah. Nobody in his family like noticed. And so we went to Target, and his dad had told us the story about how his parents got engaged with this sheep. And so how he paid for like this dowry with Ian's grandpa. And so we came in and I just like chucked this sheep at him. And then he's like, oh, you guys got engaged. And then his dad like hugged me, which is so weird because me and Chris, neither one of us are like super into hugs. And so he like hugged me and then I hugged him back. And it was like the most awkward two-person hug ever because neither one of us are like super huggy. So yeah, and we got engaged. And then we set a date and we've been planning ever since. So that's how we met, guys. And that's how we got engaged.
That's a great story.
So if you guys like this story and if you want to follow us along on our wedding journey, feel free to subscribe below. Don't forget to like and comment. You can follow us on our social media. Mine is Instagram at Bree True to You. And then Ian's, what's your Instagram? Do you want some followers or are you cool?
eBuddy06.
His is eBuddy06. And so yeah, guys, that's pretty much our entire story. We would love to hear more about you guys' relationships, and if any of you guys are married or planning any weddings or engaged or anything like that, please share your story below. We'd love to hear it. We're all about like people's weddings, their lives, and you know, watching wedding videos and everything. So yeah, guys, honestly, that's really it. That's all we have for you. Thanks for watching, and as always, be true to you.